What I think is so funny is how every single one of these episodes we start it with the Carousel of Progress thought, don't we?
We've been preparing for this since we started the show. This has been all in the making. This has been leading to this. All of our lives have been leading to this moment. Do you understand?
I cannot wait.
Hello and welcome to the ParkTalk podcast with Alicia and Naynay. My name's Alicia and joining me is Naynay.
Hello.
And today we are talking about huge updates coming to the Carousel of Progress at Walt Disney World.
Bum. I would say that this is one of my favorite attractions. Is it yours? Is it on your list of top 5, Alicia?
It's maybe my top 5 in Magic Kingdom. Like, it's pretty.
No
God. Offense to anyone, but it's one of those things where I respect this attraction more than I enjoy it.
Yeah, well, the vibe check has been failed.
If I'm there all day, yes, I do it. But I'm very rarely there all day.
Or if you're there with me, you have to do it.
Well, yeah. Also, if I'm there with my family or my daughter, there's no way. She's not going to sit at 2.5 years old through this show. But we do Country Bears 1 or 3 times in one day. So
yeah, that's fair. I'm so pumped to get into this. Obviously, you were at the panel discussion about this attraction, and I know that they basically aired out most of the stuff in the Parks blog, but they surprisingly, I feel like, left a lot out of there, right?
Right, because we talked about this beforehand and we went over everything as soon as the news broke, because I know this is like your favorite attraction at Walt Disney World. Mm-hmm. Is it not like pretty high up there? So like immediately I needed to know your thoughts. I'm like, where do you stand on this? Because I'm in the room and they're telling us beforehand, and I'm sitting here going, oh my God, I'm actually really excited for this. This is the type of revitalization for this attraction that I've been dying for, because this used to get updated every 10 or so years until they just stopped in 1994. And maybe that's part of what, like, it's just so stagnated to me, because I liked it when it was updated. That was exciting back in the 90s, and it's time for another update. It's like 3 decades past time for another update. Sure. So I'm sitting in this room and I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God, look at that art. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And then as the next like 2 weeks pass before the announcement, I'm sitting here going, oh no, are people going to hate this? Like, I was so excited, but I'm now worried about the like purist, and especially younger people who've only known this version and didn't realize that it's been updated over and over again. So like, I wanted to know what your opinion is. You're the first person I talked to after the news dropped. I'm like, what do you think? And you were excited.
Extremely excited.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised, because I thought people who love this attraction would be a little hesitant to be okay with it.
Well, let me tell you why I'm excited. I feel like this attraction redo could have gone in a very different direction that would have really upset me. But contrary to popular belief, I love the Carousel of Progress. However, for me, the attraction begins in Act 3. Like, I kind of just hang on during Act 1 and Act 2, and I love it, and it's nostalgic, and it's a part of my childhood, and I sit through it. The second we rotate into Act 3, I am like, that is what I'm there for. And I love Act 4 as well.
Okay. See, isn't that exactly what I said in my vlog? I think you and I strangely are on the same page on that, because I am bored by the first 2 acts.
Very.
It's so far removed. When you're 100 years earlier in our history, it's so far removed that it's just, yeah, like we're going through the motions, waiting for things to get more interesting. And then when it gets to, what year is the Act 3 right now?
I think it's 40s, if I'm not mistaken.
40s? I always think it's the
40s.
50s, but it's actually the 40s, yeah.
Right.
That's close enough that we have nostalgia still for that time period, and it's only because I think it's the 50s. Whereas the other stuff is so far removed, it might as well be the Old West. Like, it's so good.
Right. It's like, I don't need to sit here and it's like, the light bulb was invented. And it's like, I don't need to, we're good. We're so good. We can start from the middle of the century and move forward. So being a person who loves all things mid-century modern and also loves the 80s and the 90s, it's almost like my special interests start in the middle of the century and then go beyond that. So having the attraction start where the meat and potatoes begin for me, I am so into that.
Do you think it's interesting that the Pop Century Resort dropped the first 50 years from the plans after they started building it? Like, do you think they saw the writing on the wall for nostalgia for a time period and just like, you know what? Never mind. Let's turn this into Little Mermaid rooms. Like they had to have seen the writing on the wall, because that's what's happening here. Where when this first debuted in 1964, people remembered those past 50 years of decades. Like there
Right.
was someone represented in the room from each of those generations. And now all those people are long gone. So we have to shift the whole paradigm. And now watching this new version will be like the equivalent of watching that other version, where everyone in the room, there will be someone in the room who remembered that generation going back, you know, whether it be my parents or your grandparents of the first scene, or me in the second and third scene.
Right.
Oh, these are nostalgia, but also there's so much nostalgia even from younger generations who haven't experienced the 80s and 90s. So it kind of works
Sure.
on all those levels.
Yeah, I'm just really excited. And I feel like we're starting in the decade of color. And that's the one thing about Carousel of Progress, or even just like America back in the day. It's like everything was kind of like brown and drab. And you can really see that in Act 1 and 2. And in the second you hit Act 3, it's like you have the sky blue, you know, like kitchen booths, and everything is like white and shiny and glossy. So starting there and then dipping into the 80s and then dipping into the 90s. And oh my God, so excited. I'm so excited.
So, well, okay, good. It's good to see that you're on board. And because like, as Carousel of Progress's #1 fan, it was all riding on you. You have to set the tone here. I wanted to go through scene by scene and try to explain what I saw from the panel, because I seen the concept art. I saw it with my own eyes, and the only one they released is the final scene, but I've seen one piece of art from every scene, and we're so far removed now. It's weeks later. Let's hope I can remember what I saw. I should have like doodled it back in the hotel afterward, because I don't want to forget. But also I have my notes from the actual panel, so we can go over in order what they said, see if there's anything that was left out of the official blog post, and then give our thoughts and theories, especially for the end of what we think we might see. Although I do want to preface it by saying, yes, I did raise my hand during Q&A and ask the most important question: do we have any information on who will be playing the characters in the new cast?
Ooh.
To which the reply was, more details will be revealed at a later time. Dang it!
Got it.
I wanted that answer so bad. Just a hint. Because for me, honestly, this whole thing rides or dies on who they get to play John. Like it is all on, if they pick the wrong voice for this person, I think the show could be completely ruined for me. And I'm usually a very positive person, but I'm just laying it out there. This is make it or break it for me right here. I think that the voice has become so iconic because they haven't updated it in so long that we're all kind of locked in. Who's the guy that does it now? The Christmas Story guy? Like we're so locked into this guy. We can't erase him from our brain.
Yeah. So let's get into scene by scene. I know that they said a lot in the blog post, but there's a lot that they didn't say. So I'm more so curious to know what we, the general public, don't know from that blog post.
It was weird because in my notes, I wrote down what they had said. They said that John and his family just got back from the World's Fair, and they're talking about all the new innovation in the first scene. This, of course, is after Walt Disney Animatronic, which is old hat, so we don't even have to talk about that.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
the intro has got Walt Disney, blah, 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 blah. But Act 1, like I wrote down, so I'm thinking like 1964, 65. And I think that's a neat idea to start to kick off essentially the show where the last one left off. Like the last one left off, like here's all of the new appliances that we offer, like at the post show for the pavilion. What was it, GE? And like now starting from that point, it's an interesting way of doing it. However, then later on they say, and the moon landing is happening on TV. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's 4 years later.
Right.
So they must be reminiscing to when they went to the World's Fair earlier that decade, I guess. But it is confirmed in the blog post that it is the summer of 1969, which is when the moon landing happened. But I do like the idea that the scene's dialogue originally, like the first part of it, can focus on all of the innovation that was unveiled or where we're standing now in the present. at the World's Fair, like everything that, because what was the joke I made? The end of this scene needs to have John saying like, this really truly is the best time of our lives. This is, now is the best time of our lives.
love
Like
it.
I need that line in there because that's the feeling I think the scene is trying to go for. Like, how could it possibly get better than this?
In general, it kind of seems like they're wanting to keep the setup of the scenes the exact same. So the turntables where the turntables are, the characters for the most part where they are right now, but they're just sort of reset dressing to fit the decade. And then obviously they're changing the script. Is there anything, what did you see in this concept art? I'm just so curious.
Oh yeah, what was this one? Oh, see, this is the one that was so far. I wasn't prepared for this to happen, so I didn't have my mind ready until the second scene. But I feel like this scene looks more like Act 3 looked now, as far as like the retro cabinets and stuff. I don't remember the placement of the characters, but I do remember by the end thinking, oh no, they're moving the characters around. So they're going to be refurbishing and like upgrading all the animatronics, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they're staying in the same spots. The rooms are staying mostly in the same spots, although the turntables might change a little bit.
Sure.
So don't think they're going to stay exactly as they are. What is he in, like a rocking chair in this first scene in the original?
Right.
But also the holidays are all shifting around. This is like the first time we have a room without a holiday. It's just summer because they wanted to make it the exact moment of the moon landing. The scene from Spaceship Earth. So I don't remember. I don't remember this art. Oh no!
I mean, here's the thing.
This is ruined. It's ruined.
I'm sure that they are going to have some sort of 4th of July decorations in this room. I mean, there's no way they won't. If it's summer in America, there's going to be a couple American flags. So that's guaranteed at least.
Hang on. July 20th. Okay, yeah, I think that's a good assumption. July 20th is the date that this actually takes place on the moon landing. I guess this one's just focusing on technologies from the World's Fair, and especially since Walt is talking and he's got World's Fair stuff surrounding him in the previous like intro scene. So it's kind of a good lead in.
Okay, yeah.
So from 1969 summer to and this is when it gets interesting to the 80s on Halloween night in 1985. Okay. And how is no one talking about this? This is the scene where Sarah now is in charge. She's literally talking to the audience for the first time ever in 60 years of this attraction. And how is no one freaking out about this?
I am so excited for this. It seems like they're going a route that depicts Sarah as this like corporate 1980s. At least this is what I'm imagining in my head. Maybe they didn't say this, but I'm imagining like
well, they did mention neon and shoulder pads. So shoulder pads is in the mention.
They did say big hair, right?
Oh yes, the biggest hair.
Okay. So big hair, shoulder pads, neon. Okay, so neon, I'm a little scared. Because if they're going to go the neon route, and this is just someone as a neon freak, I really hope that they go with real neon. It seems like the new age of Disney, they're doing LEDs and playing it off like it's neon. And I really,
no,
really
not
like
neon colors.
Oh, neon colors. Okay.
We all had those leg warmers that were like bright green yellow, hot pink. This is the dawn, especially the late 80s, early 90s. Everything I owned I had a fanny pack, which I called a hip pouch back then, that was like brush strokes of different neon colors on black. And I loved it so much until the color started to come off. Like neon shoelaces. I replaced all my shoelaces with neon colors.
Got it. The color.
In 1988. Yeah.
Understood.
Like not real neon.
In my head, I was imagining that like the house would look like a mall food court and there would just be like neon lights everywhere.
It's entirely possible they'll have like that clock that has like neon around it, like the the like pastel clock. Like that's definitely something that was of the time. So that's possible too. But yeah, I think they mean hot pink and hot neon green and stuff. Electric
I'm into
lime.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
So she's front and center. John is somewhere else.
On the porch. He's on the porch handing out candy to trick-or-treaters. So for the first time, John has got off his lazy butt and is doing something in this show for the first time ever and not just sitting there. I do think it's funny, though, that she's like, yeah, she's in charge and she's got shoulder pads and big hair, but she's also in the kitchen showing us her appliances. So, like, at the same time, but anyway.
Right. I have a prediction here. So in this act currently right now, Sarah is sitting on the porch sewing for the 4th of July.
Right.
So it makes perfect sense that they're probably going to keep that porch set up on the turntable. And then they're just going to replace Sarah with John, and John will be on that porch handing out candy. Mm-hmm. But it's
which
the
is
same
so
act.
Brilliant because it's like it's a different holiday, so they're going to redecorate, but the house structure gets to stay the same. They just refurnish and refinish the surfaces. When they explained the first scene, it didn't occur to me that like you don't have to completely rebuild this whole thing; just rewrite the story to match the existing framework.
Exactly.
So the porch exists, but now it's for Halloween, not for 4th of July, and it's for John, not for Sarah.
And it's Halloween and 80s.
Halloween.
Yeah.
And 80s. And was this mentioned in the blog post? But the daughter, Patricia, is going off to work in this scene.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. This is the scene where the daughter is going off to work. And the art that we saw was actually the daughter's room. So what the 4th of July scene would have been her dressed as Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
So her room set gets to exist also still. But instead of her getting ready to go to the 4th of July thing, she's getting ready to go to work that night. And so whatever uniform she's got on, who knows where she's going to work. They didn't tell us that. But her room is covered in like 80s stuff and band posters of like bands from the 80s, and they told us that Disney executives were arguing over which bands get to be on the wall and what was more accurate to the time period. So I love that all of Disney is excited about this, and they're getting into they're getting into putting the little piece of themselves in there. But yeah, that's something that's not in the blog post, is that she's going to work.
I heard that they settled on Depeche Mode. Is that wrong? Is that incorrect?
Oh, I don't remember. See, I don't know bands well enough.
I've got to see Brooke McDonald. For anyone who knows Brooke McDonald, she's icon and legend. She was the one who, Depeche Mode, confirmed.
Okay, so that was one of the posters. The Cure, maybe?
David Bowie's Heroes cover shot, a Depeche Mode poster.
See, this is the notes I should have written down instead of quotes.
Yeah, so we're going to get some David Bowie and we're going to get some Depeche Mode as far as the posters go in her room, which I think will be so fun. And as far as her job goes, oh gosh, there's a part of me that's like, I want her to be in pizza delivery, but I know that probably wasn't common for the dolls in the 80s.
No.
So maybe the mall.
She's probably working at an Orange Julius at the mall. If we're going to be time period accurate, that's what her job is going to be.
That is going to be so exciting. And then also, if I'm not mistaken, she's sitting on her bed now, right?
Yes, she's sitting on her bed and not in front of, yeah, they're moving her just slightly facing us, I think. She's on her bed angled toward us, yeah.
Love, love, love. Okay, so that's that one turntable. So we know everything about that one turntable because it spins into the porch and it spins into her room. That's true. So
and then on the other turntable, we know Orville's coming back. Uncle Orville is, and that's in the blog post, but it doesn't say what. It just says he can be found in the bathroom with no privacy around here on the blog post. But during the panel, they told us that he's talking about this company, Apple, that he's invested all of his life savings in. And of course, John says that'll never work. But Orville gets the last laugh. So we don't have art for anything except for the daughter scene. So my brain is like, maybe he's on that giant gray mobile phone from the 80s because he's a mover and shaker now, investing in the stock market, sitting in the bathtub on a giant gray mobile phone.
Oh my god!
Buy, sell. And then of course, no privacy around. Do you think they'll keep the dialogue from Mel Blanc? Do you think it'll be the exact same line as they had before, or do you think they'll give him dialogue?
I think they'll. I don't know. I honestly can see them just keeping the dialogue, but they did say that he's going to transition out of the scene by clapping the lights off.
Yeah. He no privacy at all around here. And the lights turn off. How good is that?
So
Oh, the
I don't.
clapper.
Yeah, I could see them going the route of keeping his voice, but also if he's going to have lines in the other scenes, I would imagine them wanting to keep everything cohesive. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
See, I would do murmuring. I would do like a Mel Blanc impersonator just doing like, and then John says, it'll never work. And then you hear, no privacy at all around here. So, like, I think you can kind of get away with both if you don't give him actual lines, just give him background dialogue quietly. If we lose the bird and Uncle Orville, there'll be no more Mel Blanc left because Mel Blanc plays the bird earlier in the show, in the current version. What does the bird say?
Progress.
I try to think. It was like,
say progress?
she plays that thing all day long.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
That's Mel Blanc also. So I'd hate to lose both lines. Especially with the callback, no privacy at all, is the best, funniest line in the 90s version that we have now.
And the scene that we know nothing about is the backside of this, which is Jimmy in his room. No. Oh, no. That's the next act. What is behind this act? What is behind this? Oh, it's Jimmy. It's Jimmy in his like little patriotic outfit, bobbing his head, leaning on like the record player Grandpa? Or whatever.
With Grandpa? Grandpa's playing the record and then he's bobbing his head and
why am I blanking? Yes. I think so. He's with someone, but I know he's like in the little colonial outfit, looking very cute. So who knows what they'll do with this scene? But I love that Sarah's going to be front and center.
They don't talk about the sun this whole panel and this whole blog post. I don't think they talk about the sun once.
That's insane.
He's guaranteed to be coming back. We just don't know anything about him yet.
Well, we will see. I feel like we have a really good idea of I feel like we have probably the best scope of what's going to happen in this scene, more so than the scene that they actually showed us concept art for.
Yeah, exactly. I think this one was they talked most about this. They talked the least about the first and last scene at the panel. So what is next? 15 years into the future is 1999, New Year's Eve.
Whoop, whoop.
And that's an opportunity to talk about the newfangled internet, which has taken the world by storm. A heavy collection of single-use appliances throughout the kitchen space. A popcorn maker, a bread maker, all the things you could possibly need. When I heard that, my brain went, oh my God, are they like trying to address the like as seen on TV fad? Because that's what it sounds like to me. Where like everything had that giant yellow as seen on TV logo in the late 90s. Like we were obsessed. If it had that logo, even if we had never seen it on TV, but you know, if we actually had seen it on TV or like an infomercial, we had to have it. If like most of it was plastic you put in the microwave for like cooking one egg. I had one that cooked ramen in 3 minutes flat in the microwave, which is already the easiest thing to make. But now I had a special tray that's ramen shaped.
That is so funny.
I think the art for this one was the kitchen, but it was a close-up of the countertop. And I swear to God, I could be misremembering it, but I could have sworn that there was a small TV on the countertop in the kitchen playing like the Disney afternoon. Like it was something or a commercial for Disney something. And they did mention that there will be Disney nods in these scenes, along with tons of pop culture nods and Easter eggs. So my brain immediately is like, it's the 90s. Maybe they're watching like the New Year's Eve special, but it's on commercials. Disney has to play things they have rights to. I bet you it's a Disney afternoon commercial. I bet you anything. Like Chippendale Rescue Rangers is, I think, in the art.
Another thing that I heard was that Imagineering sort of emphasized the use of practical special effects, and that this act in particular would be loaded with them. So the popcorn machine's going to pop like actual popcorn, right?
Right. And the bread maker's got to open up and ding, like the stuff from the earlier scenes on the current version. And I feel like that's what ties, like that's a bridge from the new version to the current version, is those practical effects with doors and hinges opening. They mentioned something about creating soap suds. Like, I don't know, was that in a past version or is this for the new version?
Was it,
a washer trick with suds coming out?
Okay, yeah, because I was just going to say, I could have sworn I heard that there was like a washing machine situation. Like you could see the washing machine spinning. But anyway, there's going to be a bunch of practical effects. A lot of
like stuff that we remember. One thing they said specifically was the Imagineers were rummaging through their houses and they found an old Kinect's roller coaster. So that gets to be in the scene. They went on eBay and bought a bunch of stuff from the time period. Someone's Disney pin collection made it onto the wall in the 90s scene.
A couple things to note. this is now the act where Jimmy's in his room with the wolf mask.
Yes.
So that makes sense that the Connects roller coaster would be in there.
Oh yeah.
What I'm really wanting, honestly, I kind of want a chunky TV in every single act. So I know that we're for sure going to get it in this act, but I mean, we could throw them in all the other acts too. And
Well, this is 1999. This is the time of the Sony Vivo. What was it named? This is the time when we almost had flat screens. So instead of giving us a flat screen, they gave us a flat screen on a CRT TV. So it still had the big back, but the front was flat now. So it's but it was also getting much smaller. So you could have a 13-inch TV in your kitchen. It was also inexpensive enough that you could have TVs in every room of the house for the first time. So I think the concept art showing a small, do you remember in Home Alone, there's like a small TV on the kitchen counter playing Miracle on 34th Street when he wakes up or whatever. That is what we all had in the 90s. It was the first time we could put a TV in the kitchen, and it was always that tiny 13-inch one. So I think like that's what it's referencing. So I wish we could have a chunky TV. Although, wait, they did say that grandma changes the channel to wrestling. And so that turntable with the giant old-fashioned TV gets to be like the living room big CRT TV now. And she changes it from the New Year's Eve like ball drop to the wrestling, which someone looked up what actually was playing at the time. So it would be The Rock, which Disney could totally get the permission from The Rock to play actual wrestling. So there you go. There'll be 2 TVs in this scene, guaranteed.
I'm curious. I wonder, it's like, because couldn't they technically do the Disney Afternoon bit in the previous act? Because, I mean, the previous act was the 80s. It's 85. Wasn't all that stuff happening in 85? I
don't know if, like, back then it was on the Disney Channel. You had to pay to see Gummy Bears. The Gummy Bears was the first one that came out that was actually only on the Disney Channel, and we were too poor. So when it moved to ABC, I was so excited to finally get to watch Gummy Bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. And Rescue Rangers and DuckTales. I think DuckTales was second. This was like pre-Nicktoons. Like they invented that concept of cartoon shows just for TV from one company. I mean, there could be Disney cartoons in the 80s scene too, but I don't know about Disney Afternoon.
But the point is is that
1985 Gummy Bears debuted in 1985.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like it's going to be an act 2. There's a part of me that just, it's like, it has to be an act 2.
But it wasn't the Disney Afternoon then.
We already have a TV in act
Gummy
3.
Bears.
Oh, got it. Okay, then maybe it is in 99.
Right. That's why I think it's just a commercial that's playing in between the ball drop. I think there's a good opportunity there to advertise all of the big Disney nostalgia. Darkwing Duck would have been big at that time, in the late 90s.
And you touched upon this, but something that I really love is the Disney Easter eggs. The story that they're going with, or as at least it seems like they're going with, is that the Progress family, they were fans of Disney, just like we were. So it's not like very much like on the nose. I think like right now in Act 4, you have like a Mickey Mouse plush in the Christmas scene, which kind of brings a little Disney-ness to it. But I'm really excited to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see how they incorporate Disney in their home, because I mean that's what we all do.
I mean, how do you talk about Disney at the World's Fair when you yourself as an animatronic were made by Disney at the World's Fair? I don't know if they can necessarily talk about Disney in that scene, but it can be woven into the other scenes for sure, because that is a big part. What I think is funny is that we jump from these 2 decades that are very commercialized and full of products and nostalgia to the next one that is the future, and the concept art that we've all seen is so plain and boring, as if like it's the Bill and Ted future where everything's sterile and clean. And we've removed all of the consumerism, and I'm like, well, good on you for not going the Blade Runner route where everything's full of promotions and advertisements, but this isn't realistic. But it's so funny that we could be nostalgia for the 80s and 90s and then also look for a hopeful future void of commercialism.
Listen, it's there. Are we getting into the future? Is that what we're doing here?
I think so. I think that was enough for the 90s for now. We can go back, but I think the future scene.
Well, there is something refreshing about seeing a far off future that just doesn't have like cell phones and
Yes.
there is something refreshing about that. And I do like that aspect. But
We all long for a future without social media, apparently.
Right. But at the same time, there's so many aspects to this home that I love. And there's so many aspects that I'm just sort of scratching my head. First of all, I went on a huge rant about this on my Instagram, and I'm sure you saw it.
Oh my God. It was so good. It was so good.
I'm like, this, first of all, this is what a home looks like today in Palm Springs, and an old white gay man owns it. So that is off the bat something that was just a very interesting approach. I do love going a mid-century modern approach, but also I think that an IP that does this approach so well, but also takes it a step further, is something like The Incredibles. You know, you could do far off future space tech, like crazy imaginative home in a style of mid-century modern.
It's also the new Fantastic Four movie. Is also
my
exactly
gosh,
that style.
Of course, the new Fantastic Four movie.
They even have a little robot that looks like this robot.
Okay, this is not giving that, though. This house is not giving that. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Are you saying that they scrapped an Incredibles retheme of this ride? Because that is what it looks like, and they just like because I've seen people theorize that they scrapped a Fantastic Four version where John Progress over there even has the Pascal like mustache rocking over here. Like he's wearing a Fantastic Four outfit. Like he's wearing the blue with the sweater. It looks like he's straight out that movie. And the robot looks like they slightly tweaked it to be copyright distinct from the robot from Fantastic Four. I think it's maybe just what was in their head. They said that the concept art for the scene is inspired by the original concept art by John Hench for the original Carousel of Progress, which was very 60s forward. Sure. Like it was drawn in the 60s. So there's like a lady in a bikini lounging, and the room looks nearly identical to this. So it's funny to me that they made the far future inspired by a 1960s present, and it not look much different, except they have more clothes on. I think there's some hints here about what makes it futuristic, and we can like zoom in on it, but they didn't tell us much during the actual panel, except that the art was inspired by the John Hench one. But I do think it's funny. We're just now like Attractions Magazine just posted something, and people were like, "Wait, what?" They said that the possible future scene is so distant in the future. This scene may take place off planet. I went back to the notes from the panel, and that is what they said. They said we're looking at the final scene, and they're in a world that may be a little bit off planet. What does a little bit off planet mean?
No,
what do you mean a little bit off planet?
Please,
are you a little bit pregnant?
I need to see flying cars in the background. Like, respectfully, this is and this may be a hot take, but my wish is this contractor, this vendor that they've been working with for the last two attraction redos, which is Test Track and then, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy. They're so good at doing that like projection dome.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see that outside the window. Okay, I need to see just like a blank canvas and then project something crazy happening outside. Flying cars, futuristic city, Progress City in space. Like, I need that. I don't want this like it could be in space. We don't really know, but here's a set of mountains.
I think they're teasing it because they don't want to give it away. And I do wonder, like the art shows mountains outside, like, and green pine trees and snow-capped mountains. So like maybe we're supposed to think, oh, they're on an alien planet, and that's the beauty and grandeur of this planet outside. Like they're on Europa, the moon of Jupiter or something. And like that's what we're supposed to infer from the art. But deep down, I'm like, no, I think this is going to be like a weird reveal thing where they have this whole conversation about like grandma and grandpa had so far to travel to get here. And like they're going to have little nods. And at the end, they're going to be like, well, let's turn off the view screen and take a look outside. And then it's just space. And they're on a space station floating in space. And they mention like, it's so great that we moved out here to Brava Centauri 5 years ago or something. Like, I just feel like there's a little Horizons nod in here. since Horizons was the spiritual successor to Carousel of Progress. And there's a way to tie that ride into this ending without it being overt or obvious.
So you think that the landscape that we're seeing in the concept art, where it just looks like nature, could
Was a
potentially
screen
just
the
be
whole
fake.
time. Yeah. It's a switcheroo, and it was a screen the whole time. It's like Back to the Future 2. These aren't real windows. They're just like trying to make them comfortable, but they're really floating in space, and you see like the spinning parts of the space station behind them.
Oh, I am so into that. That sounds like a great, I'm so into that. That makes perfect sense, because what I'm seeing so far, I'm just like, this is just Palm Springs. Like, I don't.
Right. And if you zoom in, they have like a robot arm decorating a cake. They have a little tiny robot coming out to vacuum. There is a vegetable garden above the kitchen area.
Right.
Like there's little things that are like mildly futuristic, but also kind of exist now. We have robot vacuums. We have indoor gardens. We have KUKA arms that do things that are very well.
Yeah.
But then you see like grandma and grandpa, and they're just getting here from this doorway. But this doorway kind of looks like an elevator. And so my first thought was, okay, they teleported here.
Okay.
They're not coming in from a doorway. They're coming in from a teleporter, and they're coming from Earth because this is in space.
Let's get into Grandma and Grandpa, because there's a lot of, I don't know if you want to call them red herrings, but there's a lot happening here.
Theme park logistics you're seeing, right?
Theme park logistics, right? You're seeing their feet covered. Say. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Their feet are covered in a very strategic way, which obviously, like, we know what that means. What do you think is going to happen here? How do you think that they're going to enter the scene?
Well, no, I think there's a chance for the doors to open Star Trek style. Just like shoom, like especially with the circle, it's easier to do it that way. It just like spins around, and then it's like, oh, good, Grandma and Grandpa are here. And then yes, I think your theory, they Ben Franklin their way into the room, like fake walking hand in hand, and Disney gets to tout the first two people holding hands walking animatronic. But because it is covering their feet, and it does seem like that's a perfect place to put like the track mechanism needed for walking. Like, oh, what? When Ben Franklin can walk upstairs, Frankenstein's monster can walk toward the audience at a pre-show. You know, hold my beer. We got two people holding hands walking out of a teleporter door. I do think that's accurate. I do also hope that's what I mean. Like, there's more futuristic stuff hidden here in the scene than we think.
Exactly. It's like the house may not look super futuristic, but if it does extremely futuristic things, then I think that this is a home run. And then you're looking at that giant skylight. Look at that giant skylight in the center.
Right. That could be part of the dome screen. Like, that's revealing, that also disappears and reveals space above it as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, because that's just part of the fake window screens that they have going on. But they'll either way, even if it is a real window, there'll be great depth on this to create the effect of like it being in the distance, even if it is a dome screen just playing mountains.
And then respectfully, like, the kids are not doing I don't know what they're doing on that couch, but that's not I don't want to see her with a guitar.
It's so kumbaya. Like, we've achieved world peace. The future is perfect. We're all in our Bill and Ted. Seriously, if anyone's watched Bill and Ted, the future is this. This is the sanitized, clean, no logos, no companies. Everyone is happy, kumbaya future. They're all wearing like Star Trek: The Next Generation home, like when they're not in the spaceship uniforms. The mother's dressed in this perfect garment. Yeah, why are they all dressed like they're in Star Trek: The Next Generation when they're on a planet? Grandpa's the only one dressed normal in this whole picture.
Except for
son.
No, Jimmy.
The son is dressed normal. Yeah, Jimmy's dressed normal too. He just got back from his job fixing spaceship things. That's why he has a little spaceship in front of him.
Yeah. Oof.
There's an easel in the back. They're trying to say like that thanks to socialism, they have all the time in the world for art. They don't have to work. Robots do all of the work, and they got an art easel back there. She's playing guitar. He's just sitting drinking coffee. John's still standing in the kitchen, but he doesn't even have to decorate the cake because a robot's doing it.
So there's something else that I'd like to address in this photo. So obviously, they mentioned that they're keeping all the AAs and they're just refreshing them. But grandma and grandpa, we don't have grandma and grandpa AAs that are in that position or walking or can do what they're doing. So we're for sure getting new animatronics. We
I think
have
it's
to
the
be.
top half of them. I think it's their same heads because he's sitting on a chair talking about laser discs and car phones, and she's playing VR. So they are decently crafted animatronic pieces. They just have to replace them from the waist down and reorganize their hands.
Got it.
So I think they're usable in that scene. That scene has the newest animatronics in general, because it is 30 years newer than all the other scenes.
But are they electric?
I don't know about that. This is 1994 we're talking about.
Right. I know exactly. I don't think they are, but I feel as if whatever new animatronics they're going to put in here, they're going to be electric. Which
Right.
electric,
When they say upgrade the animatronics, my thought is that they're going to keep all the shapes and exteriors and maybe upgrade, not all of them, but upgrade the key ones as needed. So yeah, if you're going to walk, maybe they become electric.
See, I'm scared because electric, the reliability is awful right now.
Yeah, Scooter's already had B mode 2 days in the last week.
I mean, and he's not, I mean, he's impressive, but I mean, it's a Kuka arm with a stick at the end of the day. Like he's not like Tiana's Bayou Adventure,
Right.
animatronics. But as of right now, what I do know is that the animatronics that are there right now are all through like the tubes and the pumps of fluid and whatnot. And because of that, they have to continuously run 24/7, meaning when the attraction is not operating, the scenes just continuously keep moving.
God.
The theater doesn't rotate.
They die like a shark. They have to keep moving or they die.
They have to keep moving. So right now, like I know for a fact, all the animatronics are clicking and clacking. They do not stop. Ever. They do not stop because they can't. So with these guys, I'm just hoping that if we're getting all new innards, I guess you can say, and if we're transitioning to animatronics to electric, and you got animatronics walking and doing crazy stuff and teleporting, I'm just hoping that they have a tighter grip on reliability, because I don't know what a B mode would look like when it comes to the Carousel of Progress.
Right. I've never. That's a good point, because I just went on Monsters Unchained this week, and the Dracula escaping was just frozen, and like, okay, that's fine. You only see him for 15 seconds, but if John Progress doesn't talk to me, the whole ride has to shut down. Like that's the point of the ride.
Yeah, honestly, I have not seen one of the new age animatronics run reliably. Like, do we have an example of one of them never breaking down? Not even never breaking down, but just like not being reliable continuously. I feel like I'm always seeing videos of them just not working.
I've seen the shaman from Navi River Journey down twice since it opened, and I go on it a lot. And I've actually I was thinking to myself, like, you know what? For being one of the first most impressive animatronics in the new age, this one's pretty reliable. And they have a very quick B mode where they switch her out for a screen very quickly. So they can keep the ride open the rest of the day. But like, I would go to watch It's Tough to Be a Bug, and the Hopper animatronic would be down halfway through the day every day for like the last couple of years. And you go in the morning because they fix it overnight, and if it breaks, they just don't have him. And I was thinking to myself, like, how is the shaman so reliable and Hopper like isn't? Like, I would assume Hopper from 1998 would be the older version animatronic, and Shaman's the newer one. So we can't all be the shaman. I think the Tiana is probably the worst offender in the new age.
Oof.
And there's always something, if not some things, down on that ride when I go on it. But there are more reliable ones. I don't. Maybe it comes down to air conditioning. Shaman's got better AC on her.
Honestly, it probably does. Which that also begs the question. There's a lot of maintenance that has to happen with the theater, from the seats to the AC to all the other things. So I'm curious to see what gets updated and upgraded and what doesn't.
They have as much. Well, they have at least half a year, if not a year and a half. Like if we're going to open sometime next year, and it's closing in just a month, not even like 3 weeks, then they have either 6 months to a year and a half to do whatever they need to do. So if they need to like strip it down to its studs and redo walls and redo the HVAC, they have the time for that. while they're doing the install at the same time. And that is part of the reason this whole panel that I saw was about refurbs and refreshes and how certain attractions need big upkeep and they have to close it anyway for 6 months to a year. Like Big Thunder Mountain needed the retrack. And while they were in there, they also plussed up the scenes.
Sure.
Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin is the greatest example probably right now, where it was a little long in the tooth for a multitude of reasons, and they didn't have to go as hard as they did. They didn't have to redo the entire soundtrack and re-record new lines just because they were going to go in there and refresh it, or they didn't have to redo the appearance of every ride vehicle or add the extra tutorial scene. Like, I feel like they had to redo the point system. Like, that was inevitable, and it came out so good. But while they were in there, they updated so much.
Sorry, this is completely irrelevant, but something that I noticed this last trip when I was there a couple weekends ago, now that your guns can detach, I got shot in the face with a laser on the People Mover like 2 times. I rode the
Through
People
the window?
Mover like through the window.
Oh my God.
And if you look on the back wall, like behind, there's just lasers going crazy. So I was like, oh, this is new and this is interesting. I've never, like, I was like, ow, my eye. And I was like, wait, what's happening? I was like, oh my gosh, I think I just got shot in the eye with a laser.
they need to polarize those glasses, those window panes if they haven't already, to at least decrease the severity of the damage to your retinas. I think that because it's a spinning vehicle, I thought for sure we'd all be getting lasered all the time, and I haven't had it happen yet, and I've been on it like 8 times. So, because like the spinning, like normally on a shooter thing, on Men in Black, everyone's pointing the guns right at each other's faces on purpose. We're shooting the exhaust port. I'm surprised it isn't more of a problem. But yeah, at that angle, everyone's shooting up. It's gonna go right to the people. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had the detached guns since forever, and I've never been shot in the face with a laser while on the ride because my face is not a target. Like, everyone's shooting out and about. But I did find it interesting that I was like, oh, I'm on the People Mover, and I don't know if there's targets aimed this way, but if next time you're on the People Mover, you could even like look at the black wall behind you and you'll just see lasers all over everywhere.
I'm gonna do that. That is so weird.
Yeah. So anyway, that's besides the point. Carousel of Progress. Very interested to see what gets redone. This was a rumor. I don't know if you ever heard this rumor. This was probably a couple years old at this point, and who knows if it's actually factually correct, but I had heard that they were also having motor issues with the spinning theater. Did you hear this or no?
I remember something a couple years ago. There was like blog posts about something where like they have to evacuate and close it for the day or not close for the day, but close it for temporarily and because it refused to spin for whatever reason. So maybe, but at the same time, like, I wonder if it's a sensor issue and they need to upgrade like to newer safety technologies, because we want to make sure that there's no obstructions. Because if someone stands up, whatever, you have to stop the show. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if every time they redo this attraction, they, go in and replace the giant gears and tires that spin this thing.
The last thing that my brain sort of went to was that right now in its current version, there is a pre-show. A lot of people don't watch it, but there is a pre-show. And it seems like with the new version, they're wanting the Walt animatronic scene to be what's playing, like the
Do you
digital
mean the
media
Q video?
The Q video, right? That pre-show Q video situation that happens. It seems like that's the audio that they're most likely going to use for the Walt animatronic. So I'm interested to see what becomes of the pre-show, because there's no way that they're going to play it twice.
They did. Yes, that'd be interesting. They did say somewhere, it wasn't during this panel, where the audio is coming from for Walt.
Oh, no.
Is it in the blog post?
No. I hope it's not like ours where it's a tiny little speaker on stage, so it sounds like it's actually coming from his mouth.
No. I mean, like where they're pulling. No, where they're pulling the audio from. Here it is. Disneyland Goes to the World's Fair, which is where the footage from the pre-show video is coming from. But that's just the footage. The voiceover in that was from the later. Was it Rex Allen doing it? Like it's if you can hear it, they're talking about it. It's from the 90s version. They kind of do a crash course history of the attraction and the changes it went through since Walt debuted it into now. That's why in the intro scene now, the voiceover says like, and while our family has experienced a few changes over the years, like they're continuing on the story that we told us in the pre-show outside, that like we know this changes all the time, but it's still the longest running show in the history of theater.
Take that, hoop-de-doo.
Disneyland Goes to the World's Fair is where 1964 show, which is why he's surrounded by the World's Fair things like the tiki birds and the so.
And it's why he's in that exact outfit too. He's in that blue vest.
There you go.
But I don't know if you've heard about our audio situation that's happening with our Walt animatronic and how Imagineering wanted it to sound like the audio is actually coming from his mouth. So his audio comes from one little speaker that's on the stage, and it's not the same audio that's done sort of surround sound. Right. And it is extremely hard to hear him in the back of the theater.
I mean, that's how the Carousel of Progress is now.
Is it?
All the John audio comes from like his direction. They hide it a little bit lower, I think, like near his feet or something, but it is directional. So if you're in certain parts of the theater, it seems better now, but I swear like 3 years ago, I could barely hear him when I was in the back left and he's in the front right. Like it's only projecting from him and it dissipates very quickly. And they also have to keep the audio down because you'll have leakage from scene to scene. So the directional audio, and it's kind of quiet so that it doesn't leak into the next scene. That's the exact problem we already currently have with John. You and I are just sitting in the front all the time, so we don't notice.
Right. I'm like, I refuse to sit anywhere but front and center.
But normally it's a little quiet, and everyone has to be. And I'm surprised that audiences are so good at being quiet. This is why I don't take my daughter, because you have to be quiet to hear the scenes. I think the little side carousels are a little bit better at projecting audio because they're not worried too much about it being. It's just coming from the outside of the little carousel spinner.
Yeah. The last time I was there, there was so much noise bleed from the dance party happening outside, especially in Act 4, which was so annoying.
Yeah, because the show itself is quite quiet. It's just very soundproof room, so you can usually hear it.
So I'm excited for all the cosmetic changes. I'm really hoping that the mural around the building gets refreshed and gets completely redone. I'm assuming the marquee won't be changed because it was kind of recently redone and it looks
I would
nice.
Imagine they do it again. This is a second version from the gear version in 94. Like they took the gear version and they repainted it to be almost like a microchip like network. Like it looks like a corporate art for the internet and networking. Like the colors are in like network highways. But I kind of miss the gears on the building from 94. That's the nostalgic for me. I don't know. I think it's due already. It's been at least 10 years, hasn't it? Since the switch over to the new digital looking marquee.
I have a picture in 2015, in June of 2015, in front of the marquee, and it's still the gears. So it's definitely.
So I think we're coming up on 10 years.
Yeah.
But no, it has to be updated because they want to like telegraph to people that this is a new version. So I imagine they have to do a repaint and they have to do a new marquee, or at least add to the marquee. They'll still call it Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress, even though now nothing will remain from the original version except for their face molds in the first 3 scenes. But Walt being in the intro makes it a little bit better. The songs remaining.
I'm really excited about the song remaining, and I'm excited to see how long this takes them. What are you thinking? Like, when are you thinking as far as an opening date goes for this? What are you predicting? Because obviously we don't know.
Speaking of the song, I'll get back to my prediction because I got to think about it. Have you been on It's a Small World? Does your It's a Small World have the new verse at the end?
It does.
Okay. What, like, do you think anyone even notices besides us? Like, nope. It fits so perfect and sounds, the only reason I would even notice, in which I'm looking for it, it sounds slightly crisper than the old one because it is a new recording. But like, did they hire a choir that specifically sounds like children from the 60s? Like, how does it line up so well to the original version?
I have no clue, but I will say that I wrote it while it was changed and did not notice and had to go and do it again to go back and notice. So that's how good it is.
Right. Because it blends so perfectly. And that's what I'm thinking about for the song. I feel like they're going to re-record every version of it. Obviously, they have to with new dialogue for John, but even the ending, like the ending right now is the most 90s version you could possibly imagine, and I'd hate to lose it. But at the same time, I know they're going to re-record it. So I'm curious to see how a new recording of this old song will sound the same way that it did in the 90s.
Or maybe not. Or maybe like when we're transitioning into the 80s, you have some like synth in there. Like, you know how they sort of stylize the music when you're hitting each decade?
Wait a minute. Can Tom Hanks sing? I think he can sing. Everyone always has been saying John needs to be voiced by Tom Hanks. So now every time I ask a question, I always ask, like, does Tom Hanks, can he sing? He has sang the Toy Story song before, so he can sing. I don't know if it's good, but
I'll ask him. I'll ask him today.
Who would you want? Who would you want?
Honestly, best case scenario for me is getting someone who does not have a big name. Like, I don't need a reference to someone really important. I don't need anyone important. I want them to get someone random off the street who sounds exactly like whoever they have right now. The
current voice.
That's it. Like, I just want them to recreate
auditions.
That, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, auditions, and it does not matter who it is. Who is it right now? Rex Allen?
No, that's who it was originally. That's the first.
Okay.
It's been 2 voices since then. I think it's the Christmas Story guy.
And he's dead, right?
Yes.
Damn. Okay. So yeah. So
Rex Allen plays the grandpa in the final scene right now, which is a good, like, he got to be like a little cameo in it. He gets to be the Laserdisc guy.
Yeah, I just kind of want them to set up auditions, and just whoever can match the voice as close as you can. Like, that's who we need. That's my personal desire. But, obviously,
they're not going to do that.
They're not going to do that. No. They want some sort of I know that even if they grab a voice that sounds nothing like John has ever sounded, as long as there's some sort of tie in, they're like, hey, it's okay because this person's important.
Gene Shepard. I knew him. I couldn't think of it. He passed away in 1999, actually.
Oh, damn. Like, very soon after this version was 5 years after?
Well, it's 5 years.
Yeah.
Because this did debut in 94, but it takes place in 99.
So what are you thinking as far as opening goes?
I think it's going to take a year.
I do too.
So I would say summer of 27 seems like a good bet.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't mean that they necessarily want to pin themselves down, because things could take longer, could go quicker. So I get why they're not going to say what it is. They probably won't say until, the end of this year, a general time, and then they'll pin it down as we get closer. But I think a year is reasonable. How long did Thunder Mountain take? That was a bigger project as far as retracking a coaster that's been here for 40 something years. This one, I think they can do a lot of stuff off site, and then once it closes, strip out all the guts from the animatronics and start working in the innards that they've probably been already building. It might just come down to, like you said, if they're replacing the mechanism that spins the theater, that alone could take a long time.
I honestly feel like they're aiming for Memorial Day. They're probably aiming for Memorial Day 2027, but if things get delayed or whatever, they can push it later into the summer. But I can't see it opening after summer. I can't see this being a fall or winter 2027. That does not seem like it makes sense.
So supposedly they got a good team working on this. I don't know what you've heard, but from people that know and people that I respect, they seem pretty confident that it's going to come out okay.
Yes, from what I know, the person in charge is, in quotations, one of us. So it seems like Disney as a whole, or the people in charge, have the same level of nostalgia with this attraction as we do. It doesn't seem like it's being put together by a team that's all right, let's just bulldoze this and who cares? It seems like it's as near and dear to them as it is to us, which makes me feel very good. And of course, there is that element of something that, you once experienced will be different and change is really hard. But as far as I go and my special interests go, it honestly feels like they made this attraction for me. They're making it for me specifically.
Right. There's a lot to be excited about. And if they pull it off, it could be a show that I watch every time and not every other time that I go. The last thing they said during this panel about it was, we care a lot about legacy, but also injecting some great new optimism into the attraction. And I think a complaint I've had about the current, the last 20 years on this planet, is that young people haven't had the chance to grow up with the optimism about the future that I had, especially in the 80s and early 90s. There was this like, we can be anything, we can do anything. So for them to consciously be taking an attraction that ends in the future and making it optimistic, I'm like, finally, it's about time.
Yeah, very exciting.
I miss Horizons, is what I'm saying. Kids these days need their Horizons.
Is that it?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's it. Besides besides the poster looking awesome.
That was a perfect end to this fabulous episode.
Oh, thank you all for joining us here on ParkTalk. Naynay, you got anything you want to plug? Like besides, well, how do we find your Instagram where that video is that you posted?
Oh yeah, my Instagram is @withnaynay. If you want to follow me on Instagram and see all the shenanigans I'm up to. I did recently go to a vintage Pizza Hut, so it's not just all theme parks and Disney, but there's a lot of fun and whimsy in there.
Oh my God, speaking of 80s and early 90s, I need to go to one of those, especially since I have one here. But yeah, you're a good follow. Everyone needs to go follow you on Insta.
Thanks.
Thank you all for listening. Leave a comment if you're listening to this on a medium that has comments, and let us know what you think about the Carousel of Progress redo, any predictions, and who would you cast as its stars. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.